We interrupt your program to bring you this Political Kitty breaking news update. Thank you for staying tuned. This is Political Kitties with a breaking news alert for the President of the United States. Donald J. Trump. News flash. Canada is not for sale. Not now, not ever. Learn to keep your paws to yourself. I repeat, news flash, Canada is not, and will never be, for sale. Since 1867, Canada has stood proudly as a sovereign nation, and we're not about to auction off our igloos and maple syrup reserves to the highest bidder. Remember that little soiree in 1814 when British and Canadian forces gave the White House a fiery makeover? Good times. While we're not in the arson business anymore, let's just say we're still pretty good at defending our turf. Now, don't get your toupee in a twist. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. A promise that will stand on guard for thee, ready to face any tangerine tomcat who thinks they can bully us on the global playground. Never mistake our kindness for weakness. We may say sorry when you bump into us, but push us too far, and you'll see a side of Canada that's less poutine and politeness, and more hockey fights and moose on the loose. Oh, this is peak Canada right here. A moose not only causing chaos, but also assisting in law enforcement. Move over K9 units. It's time for the M unit to shine. Imagine the thief thinking they made a clean getaway, only to be thwarted by a rogue moose leading the cops straight to them. Honestly, this is the kind of energy we need when dealing with Trump's nonsense. If a Canadian moose can track down a stolen car, imagine what an entire nation of us can do when we decide we're done with his antics. Moral of the story? Don't mess with Canada. We have wildlife, and we know how to use it. Our Scandinavian ancestors didn't earn the nickname berserkers for their knitting skills. If you poke the beaver, expect the claws.
Ballistic in war? Ah, Canadians. We all know the stereotype. Nice, friendly, and extremely apologetic. If you're fighting them, though, avoid them at all costs, because for some strange reason, these usually calm maple leaf lovers go absolutely ballistic when there's a war on.
Let's not forget that Canada, like the US, is a nation of immigrants. Scandinavian immigrants have shaped Canada's identity, yet the GOP's stance on immigration reeks of hypocrisy. Your wife, Melania, is an immigrant, and J.D. Vance openly disrespects his wife's Indian heritage. It's time to call out this double standard. No one owns this land. Not you, not us. We are stewards of it. In response to your annexation suggestion, Canadians are already taking action. Travel plans to Disney World? Cancelled. Instead, we're exploring our own backyard and boosting local businesses. We're boycotting U.S. products, a move projected to cost billions in economic losses for the U.S. And given your administration's airline safety record, turbulence now has a whole new meaning. Your 25% tariff on Canadian goods has ignited a surge of patriotism. Flag sales have doubled, and Canadians are buying local like never before.
The Buy Canadian movement has become a huge force in the last week alone, changing how and where people shop. Grocery store owners like Marilyn Dibb are astounded by just how quickly Canadians have dumped American products in the wake of President Donald Trump's tariff threats.
They are completely boycotting the American-made product.
This move is projected to backfire economically, hitting both tourism and retail sectors on both sides of the border. Your administration's chaos isn't just hurting Canada, it's wreaking havoc globally. The dismantling of essential federal government agencies has halted critical social and health programs. Mass federal layoffs have left critical services understaffed. The Federal Reserve warns that tariffs will drive inflation higher as businesses pass increased costs onto consumers. Running a country like your businesses straight into the ground? From the bankruptcy of Trump Taj Mahal and Trump Shuttle to the failure of Trump Steaks, Trump University, and Trump Vodka, your track record speaks for itself. And let's not forget your legal entanglements. Being found liable in the E. Jean Carroll case, multiple gross misconduct allegations, and defamation lawsuits are hardly the credentials of a leader. Your mishandling of COVID-19 in your first term left the U.S. vulnerable, and now Texas faces a catastrophic measles outbreak, fueled by anti-science rhetoric and low vaccination rates. Despite your tariffs and trade restrictions, Canada's trade numbers are showing resilience. However, your policies threaten to disrupt this balance. If you continue to impose tariffs, U.S. demand for Canadian exports could drop, but this may push Canada to increase trade with Europe and Asia. But, of course, that's not the whole story. Let's talk about what the U.S. has its sights set on now. From G20 summits to power moves on a global scale, the U.S. administration has been eyeing real estate for itself, and not just in the continental U.S. No. They've gone as far as eyeing Gaza, a region steeped in conflict and complex history, for a potential real estate grab. It's part of a broader strategy. Much like their continued interest in the Panama Canal, still a critical choke point for global trade, where control means influence over the flow of goods and power. What's next? A full-on land grab for Greenland? Oh, wait. How about renaming it first, because the current name isn't American enough? But don't stop there. The Gulf of Mexico? Yeah. Apparently, it doesn't belong to Mexico anymore. It's got America written all over it, except it's not. Now let's break this down. The Gulf of Mexico touches only about 4% of U.S. territory. In fact, the rest belongs to Mexico. A fact that seems completely disregarded by those in power who are too busy throwing their weight around. The nerve. The audacity. Seriously, what is it about no that you cannot comprehend? Someone, somewhere, needs to stand up and say it louder. No means no. And that is exactly what we as Canadians can do. By saying no, loudly, proudly, and without a doubt. We've already started, and the U.S. is feeling the impact. We will continue to boycott U.S. products and buy local. You can support Canadian businesses by purchasing domestically produced goods. To help consumers identify and support local products, two innovative entrepreneurs from Edmonton have developed an app called Shop Canadian. And most recently, an Ontario University student developed a way to find Canadian alternatives while shopping online. Another way Canadians have responded is with a surge in military enrollment. With rising concerns over national sovereignty and regional stability, more Canadians are stepping up to serve. Recruitment centers report a noticeable uptick as citizens commit to defending Canada's interests at home and abroad. We can petition our government leaders to shut down the border. If American policies continue to undermine our sovereignty, we can restrict entry to U.S. citizens. Thinking about visiting Canada for vacation or picking up some groceries? Maybe reconsider another destination until the next election. Thinking about fleeing legitimate persecution from the lion wannabe king? Now is a good time for Canadians to remind Americans of our hospitality, warmth, and compassionate nature. Remember 9/11? We do, and we would gladly accept you in our open arms and homes again. No questions asked. And our government is working on our behalf to strengthen international alliances. Canada is actively seeking to bolster trade relations with the European Union and other global partners. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has engaged in discussions to enhance economic ties, ensuring that our trade networks remain robust and diversified. So, next time you start eyeing us, or our neighbors up, or think you can take what doesn't belong to you, think about this. Canada is not your land. Canada isn't even our land. It belongs to the people who were here long before any immigrant landed on the shores. And we're not interested in being anyone's pawn. If you think our beavers are just cute little creatures, well, think again. Those little fur balls can be vicious when provoked. While we're on the subject, don't get me started on our moose. They can flatten a Hummer without breaking a sweat. This is your warning. We've got our land. We've got our pride. And we've got the strength to defend it. So keep your greedy American eagle eyes in check. Canada is off limits. And you won't like what happens if you push us too far. No means no. Someone needs to say it loud and clear. This world is full of bullies like you, and I know how to fight your kind, with dignity, pride, and self-respect. So to sum it up, Canada is not for sale. Not now, not ever. And if you think otherwise, well, as we say in the Great White North, go poutine yourself.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation. And that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A toque is a hat. A Chesterfield is a coach. And it is pronounced